This is Algebra 2, test number 9 through lesson 5.1 began graphing quadratic equations study guide. First question is a multiple choice question. It says a parabola blank has an axis of symmetry. Remember what a parabola is. On your coordinate plane, it's a graph that looks like this of your quadratic equation. It says it has always, sometimes, or never has an axis of symmetry. It's exactly the same from the vertex going up and going down, or going to the right and going to the left is a better way to say that. Going to the right and going to the left, so it always has an axis of symmetry. It's always going to be symmetrical on both sides. Number 2 is a watered down version of graphing. It just tells you to name the vertex of the graph and tell whether it's a minimum or a maximum. Well, the vertex is the very bottom or very top. In this case, it's right here, this point right here. So that vertex, remember, it's not just -1. It's an x comma y. It's an entire coordinate. So it'd be 0, -1 would be the vertex of this graph. And then tell whether it's a minimum or a maximum. Is it at the bottom or is it at the top? That's the only thing that's asking. So it's a minimum. And then if the question included to that, name the axis of symmetry, you would just say whatever that line was right in the middle, it would be x equals 0. Doesn't ask you for that, but if it did, that would be an easy question to add on to that. Then number 3 asks you to graph this. It says graph f of x equals -2x squared plus 2x plus 1. Remember, don't ever let this confuse you. That acts just like y, like the rest of them. So y equals -2x squared plus 2x plus 1. Remember, we do a few things first. The first thing we do is we determine if it opens up or down. Which way does this one open? A says it's -2. It opens down. So you're going to have yourself a picture that looks like that. It's a good idea to draw yourself a little picture like that just as a reference. The next thing you want to do is you want to find x, your axis of symmetry. X is -b over 2a. Remember, this is your a value. This is your b value. This is your c value. It's in standard form. It's in correct order. So -b is -2 over 2 times a. A's value is -2. So -2 over 2 times -2 is -4. This is going to simplify your x value as +1/2. So your x value, when we graph this picture, is going to be at, that's 1. Our axis of symmetry will be at 1/2. So we're going to have ourselves a picture that goes just like that. That's the first thing, your axis of symmetry. Remember, we know it opens going down. So we're going to go up some. So now we have to find the y value. We know x's value is 1/2. So let's find our y value. Y is going to be equal to -2 times our new x value, which is 1/2 squared, plus 2 times, again, our new x value, which is 1/2, plus 1. You have to do exponents first. So you have to do 1/2 squared. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. So you have 2 times 1/4 plus 2 times 1/2 plus 1. 2 times 1/4 would be 2 over 4. You just multiply straight across. 2 times 1/2 would be 2 over 2, which is 1, plus 1. 2 over 4 is 1/2, plus 1, plus 1. So 1/2 plus 1 is 1.5, and 1.5 plus 1 is going to be 2 and 1/2. Notice we're using mixed numbers here. Mixed numbers are a whole lot easier to graph usually than improper fractions. So if this is 1, and this is 2, and this is 3, then this right in the middle will be 2.5. So on your axis of symmetry, you're going to put it right there at 2.5. Again, we know it opens down, so we have to shift to the left. We have to shift to the right. You do not have to shift a whole unit over. What I mean by that is we're at 1/2 right here. You don't have to shift over. You don't have to shift over to negative 1/2. That's not necessary. We're going to shift over to 0. 0 is the easier version. We'll shift to 0. So when we plug in x equals 0, x equals 0, we're going to plug it into the equation. Y is equal to negative 2 times 0 squared plus 2 times 0 plus 1. Remember, 0 squared doesn't matter. Anything times 0 is 0, plus anything times 0 is 0. Therefore, our y value is 1. That's why we like using 0 so much, because this is eliminated, and this is eliminated, and y is 1. So when you shift over to 0, your y value is 1. Now make sure you don't make this mistake. It's mirrored on the other side. All we shifted over at that point right there was a half a unit. So you're going to shift over the same half a unit to mirror it there. What I mean is don't shift over to the next one and put it there. That would be incorrect. So is our graph open in the direction we said it was going to open? That's the check you need to make. Yes, it is. So again, we got to shift one more time. Do we want to shift to positive 2, or do we want to shift to negative 1? Negative 1 is easier to multiply typically. Sometimes it is. Sometimes every now and then it shows up where it's not. But negative 1 probably is easier. Both of them are right, and that's what I mean by which one do you want to do. So x is negative 1. So y is equal to negative 2 times negative 1 now squared plus 2 times negative 1 plus 1. I'm just running out of room right there. So negative 1 squared is 1. So we have negative 2 times 1, which we know is negative 2. And then 2 times negative 2 is negative 2 plus 1. So y is going to be negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4, plus 1 is negative 3. So when y's value is negative 1, I'm going to erase this for right now just because I got it all in my way. When x's value is negative 1, y's value is negative 1, 2, 3. And there is your point to match there. And remember, it mirrors on the other side when you shift one more unit to the right. Once you have that, we can draw our graph through those 3 points. And it looks straighter and less curved. That's only based on how far my marks are apart and everything like that. This represents a graph, though, everybody. This is fine.